Day one of my Gap Trail adventure. Stay tuned. Hello again, Bob Johnson from PK&W Railroad, coming to you again with another video. This time about day one of my Gap Trail adventure. Now this is being recorded in February of 2020, and I actually took the ride in early October. Taking me a long time to get this together. It was just a ton of material from two different cameras. I was just feeling overwhelmed. But I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here. A lot more content coming about railroading and model railroading. Now, the Gap Trail is a fantastic resource. I highly recommend you taking advantage of it. You certainly don't have to ride the entire length of the trail in 3 days like I did. That's a massive undertaking, and it was really too much. I couldn't enjoy the trail and do everything that I wanted to do, despite the fact that I did create 57 videos and over 150 still images during my trip. I really wish I had done it in 5 days or 7 days instead of 3 days, because 50 miles a day with a fully loaded touring bike, it was just a real slog. It was a tremendous physical effort, and while I'm proud of my accomplishment, I did not enjoy the trail the way I should have. So if you do it, stay at B&Bs maybe, but anyway, just take more time. 20-30 miles a day is probably enough. So this is day one, a train trip from Pittsburgh to Cumberland, and then riding the Gap Trail from Cumberland to Rockwood, Pennsylvania, where I stayed overnight in Husky Haven Campground. This is an incredible stretch of the trail, probably the most dramatic. Tunnels, viaducts, bridges, the Mason-Dixon Line, lots of amazing stuff. So let's get to it. I rode my bike from my office to Amtrak. Fortunately, it was air conditioned there. It was a very hot day. There was a great restored passenger car at the Amtrak station. Unfortunately, I don't know much about passenger equipment. I ended up just loading my bike into an empty compartment in the train. There was no specialized rack for it. It was too dark at the beginning of the ride to make any videos. Well, I believe this is mile 0 of the Gap Trail, although it's pretty poorly marked. The C&O is over there, so this must be the Gap over here. This first stretch was riding along the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, I believe it's called. Very well maintained roadbed. As you can see, the fall colors were starting to come out, and it was really starting to look beautiful. Now you're going to have to bear with me here. This is kind of a long stretch through this tunnel. It's the shortest tunnel, but I wanted you to see exactly how long, dark, and a little bit scary these were. As you can see, the camera, which is not wearing sunglasses like I was not picking up much light. Believe me, it was pretty eerie pedaling along, not being able to see the ground. Thanks for sticking with me on this. Believe me, you'll be rewarded by some great scenery coming right up. The Mason-Dixon Line. A line between Pennsylvania and Maryland. So this is the Eastern Continental Divide. A drop of water falling on me where I'm riding now would go to the Delaware. On the far side of the tunnel, that same drop of rain would end up going to the Mississippi. I did stop here and take on some calories. I was really starting to suffer at this point. Boy, my cheapo Chinese helmet cam really did work well. However, I failed to learn how to set the date and time properly on the system, so ignore that date and time up above on the left. I think this is a Warren Truss bridge. Really heavy girders in this, really heavy girders. I think you can see how incredibly well maintained the trail is. It's really awesome. Now we're coming up to another type of bridge. It wasn't far from the last one. I think this might be a Pratt truss. It's very spidery and thin, a beautiful bridge. This is an extremely long, high viaduct here. Really incredible scenery. You can see the leaves are starting to turn, but it's still quite green. Just an amazing view from up here. In addition to crossing a river and this highway, you can see there's train tracks down there as well. What a structure. Beautiful view of the river down there. Look at that. Incredible. In another 2 weeks, the foliage would have probably been unbelievable. Here you can see the trail is really clear. There were places where I couldn't see the trail because of all the leaves. This Meyersdale Depot was incredibly well maintained. I'm in the restored depot in Meyersdale. Here's a nice 3-rail layout. And it seems like there are several 3-rail layouts in here. Pretty cool. Well, to say that day one was epic would be probably an understatement. The Amtrak train was over an hour late getting into Cumberland. So that created some anxiety and urgency to the ride. The ride itself was incredible. Uphill for the first 23 miles, and honestly for about the first 18 to 20 I thought this is a piece of cake. But I ran out of gas. That was really the limit of my training, and so I wasn't properly trained, and it was a real slog. But those last few miles were incredible. 3 tunnels, only one of which I filmed properly. I was starting to really lose energy by the time I got to the last 2 tunnels. I took some still shots. There were also 2 viaducts. The Mason-Dixon Line was really done very, very nicely. A lot of statuary there. It was really nice. And also, of course, the Eastern Continental Divide. So in the span of, I don't know, about 10 miles at most, all those things occurred. Crazy. So really, really epic, but a real slog to get to the camp. Tight on time when I got to camp. I did manage to get a shower and get back here just before dark, and then I slept in. I overslept. Didn't mean to sleep quite that long. Woke up, it was broad daylight, so probably won't be 9 o'clock until I got on the trail, but still 2 hours earlier than yesterday. However, this is the longest day, 57 miles, but it is downhill. I should be able to average 12 miles per hour, I'm hoping. Not a lot of trails of structures, trackside structures left. I thought there'd be more structure history. There's plenty of the really hard architecture, bridges, tunnels, abutments no longer in use from other railroads, I guess. But no, there's a couple of depots, and the Meyersdale Depot is fantastic, but no freight houses, engine facilities that I saw, that sort of thing. So maybe I'll see some of those things today. On the other hand, maybe this will just be a shorter ride and have a little more time in camp to rest up for the last day, because I know the shot into Pittsburgh is fascinating. There's a lot to do there. So, wish me luck. Have a great day. Gonna eat some of my oatmeal here. That's good. Should have made some of my freeze-dried milk to put on here, but being lazy, need to get out of town here. Outstanding. Have a great day. Well, thanks for sticking with my video all this way. If you've come this far, maybe you liked it and you'll consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it if you would. There'll be more content coming, more model railroading. I'll hope to get days 2 and 3 on the Gap Trail also covered in additional videos. Until then, until next time, Bob Johnson with PK&W Railroad signing off. Happy modeling.